So now we'll be covering the groups one by one, the functional groups. So let us start with OH. So OH we know is for alcohols, and when we use OH, we have the prefix as well as the suffix for each of the functional group that we decided beforehand. The prefix for OH group is hydroxy and the suffix is all. So let us begin with our first question over here. So here we observe that we have OH, Br as well as Cl group, three groups present, and we have to number the chain. So we number it from the side OH gets a minimum position. So this is how we number it. Now, the name of this compound therefore becomes at 4 we have bromo, so 4 bromo. Then at 5 we have chloro, so 5 chloro. Then we have the principal carbon chain, that is hex. So we write 2 hexanol, or we can write hexane 2 all. So that is the name of the compound that we got: 4 bromo, 5 chloro, 2 hexanol. Moving on to the next one, we have over here OH group and a double bond present. So how do we start the numbering? We start the numbering where we get both of the groups involved. So this is how we number it. And at 2, we have got an attachment over here which has 3 carbons. So the name of the compound thus becomes, at 2 we have the propyl group, that is the 3-member carbon chain, call it propyl. Then there is bute, that is the principal carbon chain containing of 4 carbons, so bute. At 3 we have a double bond, so call it ene. And then at 1 we have an all. Notice that this all, when this appears, we lose the alphabets, where if the alphabets are vowels over here, we cancel them, and therefore the name now becomes 2-propyl bute through in 1 all. Okay, that is a modification we need to remember. So here the name becomes this. All right, moving on to the next example. Now we have over here OH group, Cl group, and another OH group and a double bond. So what do we need to consider over here is that we get both the OH involved, and how so? That we give lowest number to the substituent attached. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is how we number them. Moving on, so at 3 we have chloro, so we write 3 chloro. Then we have the principal chain, that is 6 members, so we write hex, 3 chloro hex. At 3 we have ene, that is the double bond involved, and then we write 2, 5 diol. That is how we number this particular compound. 2 OH present, so therefore diol. Now moving on to the next one over here, we have OH, OH, and OH. So we have 3 OH involved over here. And where do we start the numbering from now? So let us number the carbon chain from where we're getting the lowest number to the OH group. So we start from the left hand side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So the principal chain becomes hept, that is 7 carbon. So here we have hep. At 5 we have a double bond, so we write 5 ene. Then we have 2, 3, 6, and now we have triol. Okay, all right. So here we write this. So the name of the compound becomes hep 5-ene 2, 3, 6 triol. Moving on to the next one now. We have 3 OH in this particular example also, and we start the numbering from the right hand side this time. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 again. Please notice that the numbering is done based on the rules that we previously discussed in IUPAC naming system. So here we have 6. At 6 we have the chloro, so 6 chloro. Then we have at 4, now we have the OH group attached over here, and therefore this one will be the prefix. Now this is the prefix, so we use hydroxy over here. So now we call this as 4-hydroxymethyl. So a new addition to the use of hydroxy, 4-hydroxymethyl. Then we have the principal chain, that is hep, consisting of 7 carbon members. And at 2 and 5, we have the appearance of diol. Alright. So this is the name of our IUPAC of this particular compound. So for the fifth one, we have this naming done. Okay. So this was the OH group that we saw. And here we use the prefix hydroxy and all. Moving on to the next one, we have the SH group. And now in the SH group, what we observe is, so this is S over here. So now what we observed is in this SH group is that we have to remember the prefix as well as the suffix for them. So the prefix that we use for SH group is mercapto, and the suffix that we use is thiol. So we let us start numbering them. So here we number from the side which gets the lowest number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Here the name of this compound is hep because of the 7 carbon ring carbon. Now at 6 we have the double bond, so 6-ene. Then at 1 we have the triple bond, so 1-ine. And then at 3 we have our SH group present, that is the thiol, so we call it 3-thiol. So this is the IUPAC name of this particular compound. Okay, hep 16 1-ine 3-thiol. So moving on to the next group that we have, that is the NH2 group. Now the NH2 group, the prefix and the suffix which we use are, so if we see the prefix over here, the prefix that we use is amino, and the suffix that we use is amine. Alright. So moving on, the first example over here in NH2, we number this particular, so we number this particular chain from where we include this NH2 group present over here. So we call this as 1, 2, 3. So we have to include this double bond also, 4 and 5. So here the name of this compound now becomes, at 2 we have the ethyl group that is consisting of 2 carbons, the first and the second. So at 2 we have the ethyl, then it is a 5-member chain, so we call it 5-member chain, so we call it pen. Then at 3 we have the double bond 3-ene, and then at 1 we have amine present. So this is the IUPAC name of this particular system. Moving on to the next example that we have. So here we have the NH involved over here, and we number this from this side. So 1, 2, and 3. Only 3 carbons in the main chain, and we call it N. So at N, we have with 2 carbon chains, we have an ethyl group. So we call this as N-ethyl. Then we have 2 methyl. So at 2, we have the methyl group present. And then we call this as propanamine. Propanamine. So this is how we name this particular compound. Okay, N-ethyl 2-methyl propanamine. Moving on to the next example over here that is present. So here we number this as 1 and 2 because this appears to have a double bond. So we make this particular as the main chain, and here these are the 2 substituents connected to this N. So what is the name of this compound? The name of this compound thus becomes, so at N we have an attachment called as the isopropyl. So N-isopropyl. Then at N only we have the methyl group also present. So N-isopropyl, N-methyl. And then the main chain that we have, that is ethene. So ethene. amine. So we have N-isopropyl N-methyl ethenamine, and this is the name of this compound. Okay, it is an accompanied by brackets. Please keep that in mind. We're just using it to show that it is representing this particular compound and not getting mixed up with the other one. Okay, so this was the NH2 group.